big up, and welcome to Liverpool 12 Man Show. We are here with Brian and myself right now. We might have some other guests joining us, but hopefully we have you join us as well in the chat. I know that there's a bunch of big games going on, so we're going to kind of, have a little impromptu watch along, I guess you could call it, but not official watch along or hate along or any of that stuff. Um, More so, it's a opportunity to kind of talk about league news, kind of like it's almost like having a get together and having the game on in the background because the Arsenal game is an important game for Tottenham's important game for obviously Arsenal, and it has brought on some importance for us after that draw. We can break down a little bit of the game, some of the finer points, maybe even some of the lower points of that Forest game that we could bring into the review. We can also go and talk about just some news that's going on with transfer rumors. Now that some of these rumors are starting to heat up a little bit, we are midway through January. It's kind of crazy how quickly the time flies. And we also will be obviously talking about anything Liverpool related. So if there's stuff that you want to talk about, be sure to bring it up. Again, we're going to have the games on in the background, bunch of big games going on and a bunch of good times to have with each other, hopefully today and some conversation. So we're going to bring Brian into the conversation right now. Brian, how are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Pretty good. So disappointed with what went on last night, but it is what
Yeah,
it is. We are where we are. We'll just
I think,
keep one eye, close eye on this Arsenal game and see what
yeah,
happens there.
I think there was a part and point where I think I'm trying to think if that was asked to me yesterday, or it was asked backstage, but someone was asking me, like, are you um are you happy with the result? Of course, I'm not happy with the result. I would be happy if I get a win, obviously. But all things said, um, it's 1 point. It's the first place and the second place team, which is kind of surprising because again, the second place team is Nottingham Forest. I don't think many of us would ever really think that that would be something that we would say too often. Um, and no ground was gained between us and Forest, so that's okay. Um, I do know that I don't like the fact that Forest is now trying to utilize that as like something to hold over us in essence, you know. Um, but for you, is there any silver lining that you can like bring out from the game? Is there any silver lining? Again, we all wanted to win. It was disappointing not to get it. Um, but is there any silver lining in the result?
Well, no. I mean, like, if you can't lose or if you can't win, just make sure you don't lose. That's probably
Okay.
the most important thing. Like you said, getting the points. It means nobody gains any ground. But then we have this Arsenal thing tonight. Hopefully, that's another one where we've been lucky recently, where when we have drop points, our rivals have dropped points.
Yes, absolutely.
So they've kind of shot themselves in the foot just as much as we have. So
Hmm.
like I don't keep expecting that to keep happening. So
Okay.
yeah, like Redford is saying, we don't have to play him again this season, which is good.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. That is a great
That's
point.
one thing, I'll take that. But if silver lining from that performance, no, no,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay. Do you think that they? I watched the game back last night, and there were some parts and points. I made notes throughout the game, and they were singing that zombie song, that cranberry song that you were speaking of. The zombie song. Um, uh, a good bit of the night, and after hearing them mention it in the presser, watching it back a second time. you're more cognitive of it, and now you can understand what they're even saying. And do you think the virus is in Slot's head?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, without a doubt, this year they have been. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
I think he's kind of telegraphed that to the world himself a little bit. Basically, told everyone he's been having sleepless nights, watching it about 1,000 times over, and
Hmm.
he was fully expecting to be able to, I don't I don't know, think of it as revenge, but to make it 1-1,
Right.
between him and Nuno, bring it 1-1, one game each.
Hmm.
And I think, yeah, he's gone back in for more. He thought he had his game plan, and he's gotten slapped back down again.
Okay.
It's yeah, I don't think he's gonna like it at all. I think this is not that they're in our heads. I think they might be in Slot's head a little bit. He might be like, he's not gonna like this. He's gonna probably want to play them again in a week. Maybe we don't want to. He'd want to play them again against we can go and beat them.
Right. He'd be like, run it back, run it back.
Yeah, give me another shot. Let me beat it.
Right.
But yeah, look, that's all part of the fun of it. All part of the fun of it.
Hmm. Yeah, it's something that's big up to everyone joining us, by the way. Big up to Bernie, Red for Life, Hylor, Robert. Um, Definitely good to see all of you. Um, yeah, we're
Jeez,
just
the most.
again. This is you'll never walk alone. So this is like a nice little walk amongst friends and fellow Reds. Newcastle 1-0 already. By the way, big up High Lord. Yeah, we'll do updates on the games. We're gonna have. I'm gonna put both some of the games on in the background. The Arsenal game, I think, has just is it just about to start or is about to start? I
No,
think.
that kicked off 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, 5 minutes ago. Yeah, it's kicked off. I know the other game started at 30 minutes ago. That's why.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the first goal in the half 7 kickoffs.
mhm.
And Arsenal's an 8 p.m., so that's the first goal in the half 7 kickoffs.
Okay.
And probably the most inevitable score, 1-0 Isaac. I mean, how many times have we seen that so far?
Huh. Very true.
Guy's just
Very true.
relentless. Him and Chris Wood, absolutely relentless.
This year is they are both doing exceptionally well for each other for their campaigns and yeah, and he's been able to navigate the injury bug, which is something that he has had difficulty doing before. But more power to him. Newcastle will certainly make a push. Do you think Newcastle's going to get into the top four?
He could fire him into
I
it.
don't know if you have a top four or not. If you made your, but if
No,
you're
he could
looking at it
fire
from
them into
now,
it.
go
Yeah,
sorry.
he could fire them into it. He keeps going like this. They keep playing the way they're playing. Absolutely no doubt about
Okay.
it. They do need somebody to move, but if I this guy is literally on a mission right now. So if they keep racking up these kind of results, of course, his fitness issues have been behind him so far this season. Last season he had a lot of troubles, but he's been fit and healthy pretty much the whole season. If he stays like that, Murphy is playing well off him. He's not even that good.
Mm-hmm.
So they seem to have gotten back. They lost a bit of their mojo, and they seem to have gotten it back a bit now.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can
Mm-hmm.
put in a strong second half, they'll be pushing for it. Yeah, like fifth, fourth, fifth, easy kind of thing. They could even
Wow.
finish out again of Man City.
Yeah, they could. They very well could. Very well could. Um, yeah, we have 0-0 scores in all the games except for that Newcastle game. They're all about closing in on the 40-minute mark for the earlier games. Um,
Yeah, they've just gone ahead of City in the table as it stands. They're now up to fifth as it stands.
as it
City are in
stands, right,
sixth.
right. City is just what's up with City in your opinion?
Just
What is up with
uh,
City?
burn burnout, older players, not changing, not doing what they would normally have done. Whole like for some reason there was just drift there. They allowed it to drift where they won the monumental effort required to win a treble and to have done what they've done. I think there was always going to be come down from it. And
Mhm.
they didn't really do anything. All they did was bring in Savino and bring back Gundogan. They really did
Mhm.
nothing to that team, forgetting what they sold. So I think even that's what I've been saying for ages. I think Guardiola came out the other day and said that they might have made a mistake in not doing
Yes,
more in the
yes.
summer.
I have that quote. Pep Guardiola said he turned down the chance to revamp his Manchester City squad in the summer and admitted it was wrong decision after watching injuries play a significant role in their disappointing start to the season. Sounds very similar. I mean, this is a team that just won the treble. Sounds
Yeah,
very
shows you how quick
similar
you can
to a.
drop off. Shows
Hmm?
you how quickly they can. Shows you how quick when you go to that mountaintop,
Yeah.
how steep the drop off can be, especially when you've got Kyle Walker early 30s, Kevin De Bruyne 30s,
Yeah.
John Stones 30s. It's not like it was an older team anyway with one last big push in it,
Hmm.
and they went,
Hmm.
they did it. I think you can see the after effect of it now, especially in Kevin De Bruyne. He can barely get on the pitch most games, especially first half of the season. So especially, yeah, the likes of Walker and Stones. Walker's trying to leave the club now. Yeah, you can see, and Ederson can't even get a game these days. Ederson is on the bench now for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's really, really looking for. Well, if he's not going to play, he might as well just go get that paycheck. Apparently, maybe that's how he's looking at it. Um,
Yeah, yeah, they've earned big money there. It's as much as they would normally have ever earned until certain other leagues came along.
mhm.
But it's like working with Pep Guardiola isn't for everybody, and even if it
It
is
isn't.
for some, it's
It isn't.
incredibly intense. It's very difficult. So to do it for day in, day out, listen to this. Basically, you're kind of just listening to the same shtick, the same stuff all the time. To do it
Mhm.
for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, it takes its toll on players. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think that
absolutely.
that squad was ready to collapse on itself. Really, I thought
Mhm.
it only just took a couple of Jenga pieces, and it was ready to collapse in on itself. I think that's what's happened.
Mm. Yeah. Got Ref for Life is saying Pep is having troubles in his personal life and it's affecting his attitude. I don't know too much about what's going on in his personal life, but he's going through. Oh, okay. Well, he's about to
I
tell
think he
us.
broke up with his wife. I think he broke up with
Yeah,
his
he's
wife.
going through a divorce. Apparently, makes sense
Yeah,
why he was scratching his head up and a troubled man. Yeah, he does seem like someone that might maybe bring. This is all speculation, but seems like someone that might possibly bring home some of. He he seems like he lives and breathes football so much that sometimes you can bring home some things. Bring home the work to the home place, and that doesn't exactly help out. Um, and on top of being at City for almost a decade, that too. That's right. That's very true. Um, Robert says, "Will you at some stage do a rest of the season game by game prediction to see where us and the rest finish on the table for some fun?" I will do most likely a something like that. I did that. I did that. We did that last year too. Actually, we did that last year. I know that it's not always some people's favorite thing to do, which is like try to project wins and losses in front of on a schedule that's going to week by week obviously change, be affected by injuries or be affected by whatever else is going on in the players' lives or whatever form they start to pick up on from the previous games. But I would and will do something like that. More so probably towards the last when we get to like the final third of the season. I will do something like that to
do it
kind of
after the transfer window closes.
yeah, exactly. That way you have an idea as to like, okay, what teams have really revamped themselves to try to make an honest push for this. And then you can really properly assess the team's strength and the likes. So I will do that. we have a couple of things that we used to do in the beginning of the season that I would love to bring back too. Like I'd love to bring back the Survivor Series, maybe even do like a power ranking or something like that. We should do something like that as well. But we have JK in the house. Big up JK. JK and I were talking on the phone for I had JK on the phone talking for like to the wee hours of the morning. So so apologies for that. We
Nah,
got
good
into
boy.
a lot of different subjects, a lot of different topics, but some very, very good topics all the same.
Yeah, man. Hope everyone's well. Hope you're cool, Brian. The chat as well.
Yeah, man.
And let me make sure too. So we were just talking about Pep and the likes, about his struggles, the fact that they sit in what Brian just announced too, what, sixth place they were now in, right? Technically,
Oh, City,
yes,
as it stands, yeah, as it
yeah,
stands,
as
yeah.
it
With
stands,
Newcastle
yeah.
are a point ahead as a 1 up.
Right. Well, technically, if if you do a live table, they're 3 points up if they follow through with this. They'll be 3 points up. Right now, Arsenal technically sit in front of Forest, who have a goal differential plus Arsenal plus 21. We see Forest having a plus 10 goal differential. So, but they're both on 41 points. That is a live table interpretation, meaning that would be a point for the draw. If they get the win, they would go 2 points in front of Forest. If they lose, they would be 1 point behind Forest. So this game is very, very important for Arsenal at the Emirates. It's something that could be something that really pushes them further along their pursuits of holding on to title contentions. Chelsea. Third,
Yeah,
fifth.
I hadn't checked it. It was since it up, yeah. Newcastle are actually fourth, not fifth, as it stands.
Okay.
So yeah, Chelsea in fifth,
Right. Yep.
City in sixth.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they'll be three
With
out.
the lives, with the
Yeah.
live table. Yep. They are.
Everybody, well, yeah, is us, Brighton, Man United, and Everton, Ipswich, and Southampton still have games to play.
Okay.
So yeah, it's getting there's movement, there's changes. Newcastle going up, Forest going up, Chelsea getting knocked back down. So Arsenal need to maybe consolidate themselves a little bit tonight if they want to stay in that. Like they're currently second as it stands now with a live table, but level on points with Forest, but just back ahead on goal difference.
Yeah. Let me bring in Alante too. Alante, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, how's it going? 12 as always, JK. Irishman in the chat. Yeah, been a bit of a long day, but yeah. we move, yeah. Aftermath of yesterday's result, but yeah, we move. It's a new day.
Ooh. Pep's wife went back to Barcelona. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because she's been in Barcelona since for the last 10 years commute. So yeah, these things that it just fizzles out really.
Yeah, maybe sometimes the other this says Ref for Life was mentioning, like, since maybe sometimes you bring the work home, sometimes your home, whatever's going on in your home place follows you to work. So I'm sorry to hear that for Pep. No, I don't wish any bad.
Well, he's there 10 years, man. I mean, the girl's from Spain. I mean, I haven't been to Manchester. Pretty sure I haven't. No, I haven't been to Manchester.
She's
But I've
probably
been to Barcelona, and I can guarantee you, without even having been to Manchester, Barcelona's a lot nicer.
Yeah. I've been to Barcelona too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised she's there. Oh, we'll go to this Manchester place. We're there 3, 4 years maybe. And it's like, come on, Pep, we're here 10 years, dude. This ain't working for me anymore.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so.
She's got a business out in Barcelona as well, so it just kind
Yeah,
of
she's a professional woman
yeah,
doing her own thing. She's not
yeah.
someone who's home spending the money or anything like that. You know, she's doing her own stuff. So
hmm
yeah,
I'm surprised
that's
that Barcelona, when they had their push to get a coach in for themselves, why they didn't try to possibly like bring him. Maybe they did, but why they maybe didn't try to tempt him to come back to Barcelona.
No, because Pep's been
oh,
adamant.
yeah,
That's why they've had
he's
he's in good relation with the club, but he's been adamant. I'm not
yeah,
going back.
Oh,
yeah. He just
That's
said
yeah.
no way. He just said that club nearly fucking
Yeah,
killed me. I ain't going back there.
oh, wow.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Enough said. Enough said. Pep and Walker on the pro. Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, Marion saying, I wonder if the hubby could go to Barcelona, and then Robert was saying Pep back out on the club scene. Yeah, that would be wonderful. I'm sure. I don't even, is there a big club scene in Manchester? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
but
not used
any
in day, but yeah, it's a big club in town. It's a huge, traditionally, it's a huge club town,
Okay.
nightclub. So,
I had some other breakdowns too. Let me see if I can make sure. I'm trying to get these all uh, positioned for us properly so that we can check them out. But we did have a game yesterday. All those other games, by the way, are still basically they've all gone to halftime. It's 1-0 Newcastle over Wolves currently. Leicester and Palace are 0-0. Everton, Villa 0-0. 21st minute still 0-0 for Arsenal and Spurs. Ref Life's asking, what lineup / tactics do we all think we need to employ against these filthy low blocks? You know what? It was very interesting yesterday, and that's something I did put in my notes. We can do a little bit of a breakdown of yesterday's game. Let me bring up this as well. Bring up like bring up a little bit of a visual display for us as well. But yesterday we did go up against a low block. It's very interesting because, like, again, sometimes I know you can look at stats and they can tell you a lot. You do have to watch the game. Ultimately, that helps. That is certainly one viable portion of it all. You can at least get some idea as to how things broke down. But if you were to look at the average position, for instance, in yesterday's game, I remember because I saw Cass on Never a Foul say something, and I was like, oh, you obviously didn't watch the game, because he was like, oh, they didn't play a low block, and I was like, okay, bro. They played a four. They played a bank of four, and then a bank of four, and then a single, a single 10, and then a single striker. And at times, towards the end of the game, even I even noted that they even dropped to a 5, like as in towards the end of the game when they're just basically holding on, when we were just peppering them with shots and we were just all out attack. They were in they had a back line of 5, a midfield of 4, and then a lone forward that was virtually a midfielder. But it was interesting because yesterday, some of the breakdown that I did myself, or even some of the breakdown that I saw on the broadcast channels that had the breakdown of the game yesterday as well, they were noting about the fact that one time the commentator said that the best midfielder, and this is like about 20 minutes in, they're like, Liverpool's best midfielder currently is Diaz, because he was dropping back so far, and basically, rather than be that option as a forward, obviously, or that false 9, he was virtually in the midfield. And the commentator even made a comment of saying, he basically said, maybe Slot should switch. And I know Brian's not going to like this one because I know he doesn't like Cody in the middle, but he should maybe switch Lucho to the left wing, bring Cody in as the striker, and if we are going to continue to try to get these crosses in and try to get like maybe a headed goal, maybe go that direction with it, and at least have a little bit of a taller target in the middle of the pitch for us, as opposed to Lucho being that target. And when he said that, I was like, it sounds like a good idea on paper. It certainly sounds like a good idea, but I don't think that was going to benefit us, because I think then that doesn't take away that they obviously Slot has directed Lucho to drop deep. Otherwise, he would have told him not to drop so deep. You would think. Am I wrong in that, or do you think that the commentator's idea was a good one? Let's go to JK first. I saw Nolante had to drop out, so let's go to JK first.
I really like Diaz was dropping quite a lot yesterday. Like yesterday was the sort of game where we couldn't let them have the ball. Hence why Diaz kept on dropping. I told you before that he's the best holder of the ball in the Premier League. Like you ain't getting that ball off him.
Right.
So for me yesterday, he did put his job, and I think like sometimes in away games you need a guy who's going to hold the ball for longer than 2 seconds. Someone's going to hold it for 10 seconds, and you can get back into shape. And I think yesterday's type of game was made for that. Hence why he was dropping. I think Slot thinks like me.
Okay. Yeah, Brian, how about for you? Would you have wanted to? I know you most likely wouldn't have wanted to. By the way, it's 1-0 Spurs right now.
Go on. Son as well.
Go on now. Yeah, 1-0.
Well, for me,
I
game to play.
So I'm not gonna. Yeah, let's not tempt fate.
Yeah. Just keep it sweet.
Yeah, what are you saying? Keep it sweet. Exactly.
Keep it sweet.
But Brian, would that have been an answer for you? Possibly.
No, we were not outwitted by them. We were not outfoxed by them. They didn't pull a Houdini trick. They played exactly the same way they played every single game this season. They played the way they played against us. We had the blueprint. They didn't. It's not like we'd been looking at what they were going to do, and they pulled the switcheroo and they went with 3 up top and 3 in the middle, and they never do that. Like they did exactly what they do all the time. Slot knew what was going to happen, and we couldn't deal with it. We couldn't live with it. I think he tried what he could do. I think Murillo won man of the match for a reason. I've been talking about this guy for a while now. I think he's just absolutely superb, and he's going to chew up somebody like that who's not a natural striker. He might have had more problems with Darwin or Jota, who knows, but Gakpo would have been even worse in that position. People don't know it, they don't believe it. That Gakpo just can't play that position, especially not up against someone who him and Milenkovic just want to eat up strikers all day. They'll deal with him all day. So that wouldn't have changed anything for me. I think Slot was trying to get some of their defenders to move, to try and drag him somewhere, and they're like, "No, you can drop deep all you want. See you later. I'm staying here. I'm not getting pulled into midfield, following you around. Trying to do little things. Nah, man, they weren't going to fall for that. They were going to sit where they were going to sit. They were going to do what they were going to do, and they were going to make it real difficult for us. And we didn't win enough physical battles. We didn't have the force of will to change that, bend that game to our will. Not yet. Maybe we will under Slot soon, or with different circumstances. But last night we weren't able to wrest back control of that, like we couldn't with Manchester United. We were never able to get control of that. I think Man United watched what Forest did against us and tried to copy it in their own little way. And Forest did it again last night. We were never able to get a grip back on the game. We could get it for a bit, and then towards the end, it gets a bit harem scarum. They're living on their wits. Yeah, of course. Someone can go out and go, Matt Sells had a 10 out of 10 game. But you've got to beat the guys. Just okay, he did. Yeah, he had a great game. He's a goalkeeper. You got to allow him that. It's
Mhm.
just it is what it was. But at the end, yeah, you could cut together a highlights package of that match that made it look like they did nothing, and we were banging if you just cut together the chances. But it wasn't like that at all. So I don't think we had a player on the bench really, like someone's asking her, what do you do to unlock? How do you unlock? You just it's not about bringing on. Not what Red for Life is saying. People seem to think this like, oh, we need a tricky number 10 to come on and unlock a low block.
Mhm.
You can. That's not always. Yeah. If you want to unlock a low block, the only thing that what top coaches will tell you is width. You drag it apart. You don't try and play through it. You split it. You drag it wide. You try and make the pitch as wide as possible and get those people to split, not little intricate passes because you're playing into 8 people. The best little number 10 on the planet. He's still not going to. You got to pass it to someone who also has 2 players on him. He has to finish as well. So I don't think it's the tricky little number 10 to unlock a low block is the answer. I just think it's actually I don't know against a team like that physicality wise, all of that and they're red hot as well. Don't forget these guys are red hot right now. We saw it last time. Chris Wood is turning into Adriano. Sells is turning into Manuel Neuer. Murillo is turning into Cannavaro in front of her. That's what they're doing right now. And we couldn't live with it. Like you said, we didn't lose it. Like I predicted a 1-1 before the game. Nalante predicted a 1-1 before the game. I knew it was going to be tough. I will hope we could nick it. Like you say, there's no, what did you call it? There's no plus, no minus,
No net gain. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I was like, yesterday was a result which we could have lost if Forest wanted to actually put a bit of pressure on us, and also City and Chelsea dropping points again. Another blessing in disguise. Tottenham doing a good job so far in this game today. It's like we should be sort of counting our blessings that other teams ain't winning. They're always dropping points. Chelsea, Arsenal, they've done it a number of times this season already. So it's a bit like yesterday was on about the points. How many points it's going to be? It's not going to be that high, I don't think, to win it.
How about yeah, that was pretty wild. That was a record apparently. Scoring 22 seconds after he was subbed onto the pitch is now a record, a Premier League record.
And the both subs getting the assist and the goal together. That's like both the subs combining to get that goal.
Simicast deserves praise too, because he's the one that made the cross.
Nice corner.
Yeah, we were having problems getting. I think that was the most frustrating part and point about it was that. Okay, let me go to some of these notes that I have in here. It was the 67th minute that we got our first shot on target. A lot of those shots in the very beginning of the game a lot of them were A, outside of the box, and B, they were shots that unfortunately were going extremely high and over the bar when it came to when it would come to us trying to get some attempts on the game. Okay. Seeing something that was a little breaking news, but it's not really that much worth speaking on. I know Nalante definitely has an opinion on it too. Let's see. Oh, I say you answered this question in the chat there. When it comes to Red for Life was asking, what about when teams don't take the bait and won't be stretched or won't try to press us and just sit back nice and tight and stubborn, which is what they did. They sat back. There was plenty of times when they sat back and just allowed incredible amounts of space to the point where Virgil and Ibu could both basically walk it past the halfway mark, and and not only that, they were trying to emphasize having Ibu be the player that had the ball at his feet more so than Virgil having the ball at his feet, because Virgil definitely has I think we can all, this is not a knock on Ibu, but Virgil has a more diverse, more broad passing range in his resume. But what was also interesting was that when we did make a sub, and it was something I was thinking too, and I'm glad that, like, again, I saw it second time, because like a lot of times you're just more focused on, let's just get this goal, let's just get this goal. Sometimes when you're watching it the first time, you don't really concentrate on how the formations are moving and adjusting on the pitch. And what I noticed was that we've seen Gravenberch play as, when we went to 10 men, for instance, we saw Gravenberch play as a center back for us already once before. Did an exceptional job too when he was back there as well. But we've also seen us utilize a somewhat three back system as well. And yesterday's game, which was what I was hoping we would do, or something I would like to see us do more often, or not more often, but when we need to do it at least. And that was when we subbed in Gravenberch. What they did was they took away, they said, Slot was basically analyzing the fact of what I just said. If you're going to try to continuously force Ibu to be the facilitator for our team, well, let's put a player back there that can be a facilitator. Let's put a person back there that can be you're not going to press him. It's not like he's going to, have to do too much of defending per se. So we put Gravenberch in that role of Ibu, which was kind of like a head scratcher probably for some when we saw the subs being brought in. And what was unique about it was Gravenberch would play as a center half when defending. However, when they would go forward, he would migrate towards the midfield, and we would move into a 3-back system. So we'd have a 4-back system on defense and a 3-back system when we're going forward and attacking. It's a lot of running for Grav to do, because he's got to obviously hustle back and get back into space when we do have an attack to handle. But I actually liked that. I actually was thinking that that's why we probably saw such an influx of shots, because a lot of those shots came more so towards when we made that adjustment and brought in and had 4 forwards. Were you guys?
Well, when you realized that you didn't need, like we said, it was going off. Like, this guy is playing with 1 up top. Nobody's going near him. They're not even trying to attack. We don't need 2 defenders. You rarely see that in games. Like, we literally, this is how, like, Slot was realizing these guys aren't faking. They're not going to attack us. So Grav could basically sit in that. Yeah, he just dropped back in a little bit the odd time. You said when we were defending. Yeah, how many times? I know there was some opportunities, but it was like, these guys aren't even trying to attack us. So we can sit here with Burge, basically. He can deal with Chris Wood. And then, like, that just shows how, talk about, I know, entrenched or, in their shell, Forest were just like, no, you can poke us all we want. We are not coming out. Like, they played the 1-1 like they were playing the 1-0. They didn't try and go up and they just said, no, we'll take the 1-1 as well. They didn't say, oh, no, it's 1-1. We'll try and get one back there. No, we're taking this. Didn't even put any gear change, anything at all. So it was just like, so kind of realized this isn't a rope-a-dope. He's literally not going to attack us. So I don't need Evo. I can just bring on Jota and go for it.
Go for it. Right. That's basically what he did. Was like, and he did a decent job of it too. Definitely did a decent job of it. I know Marion's saying, need quite frankly, our need, quite frankly, is to stop the first goal against us now. That should be a priority. I definitely don't want to see us get into the habit of what was something that we did quite a bit under Klopp last year, and that is, concede that first goal and have to play catch up. We are still the second best team when it comes to gaining points from losing positions. We are still the second best team in the Premier League currently. But yes, I agree that we definitely need to work on that, because that's something that's an Achilles heel that none of us want to see happen.
It's not even the first goal, really. For me, it's just conceding goals. Like, when's the last time we had a clean sheet? You know? I think that's really what's really... We're not losing games, but for me, when you keep a clean sheet, you got more chance of winning the game, because like one of Salah, Yota, Gakpo, Diaz will get a goal to win it 1-0 or 2-0, whatever. But clean sheets for me right now against Brentford, my most important thing would be, lads, I want a clean sheet this game. It's like, with that focus there, I think people like Robertson and Trent and Kanate can sort of get their head straight. I feel they're not really concentrating defensively as much, because one, because of the goals we're scoring, they always know Salah's going to pop up anyway, or he's already popped up in the game already, or whatever, and they take it sort of like an advantage of that. Look, we needed a clean sheets because it brings a good vibe to the club. It looks like the defense is playing their part. You know what I mean? As soon as it's 6-1, oh, it's all right, they conceded a goal. No one talks about the defense. It's like, oh, they let a goal in. So if you get if it's a 6-0, people are like, solid. They didn't even let a goal in as well. So for me, that's really important right now. Arsenal last season, Gabriel and Saliba, solid, and they looked a good little partnership. But they're leaking goals in the last week, so it does happen. You know what I mean?
Do you think the follow-up question then? A, do you think that? I'll give you two questions. A, do you think that possibly Ibu isn't at the level, which is understandable, but isn't at the level that he needs to be currently? Maybe we rushed him back too soon. Or and B, do you think that Ali possibly has been brought back maybe a bit too soon? Because I've seen some parts and points of people on Twitter. I saw Redman TV have an episode on it as well. Is Ali a little bit off his game currently?
He doesn't look 100%. Like, I've seen a picture of him. He doesn't look sharp. Like back in the day, he looked like a Hugo Boss model or something. You know what I mean? Proper sharp. He just looks a little bit, I don't know. Like, he just don't look sharp. You know what I mean? Like, he looks a bit sluggish. Like, I've seen a picture of him. Was it today or yesterday? And what could be the problem there? We don't know what happened in his injury, really. He couldn't have changed that much. Like, before his injury, he was sound. But I just want him to have a clean... That's what I'm on about. Another thing there about the clean sheet business is that the defence need to say, you know what, we can't rely on the goals all the time. But Alisson said, we need a clean sheet for Alisson. Give him some confidence, A 2-0 against Brentford away, I'm taking that right now. Clean sheet, 2 goals, I'll take that. So for me, it's for Alisson. Okay. Like, we need Alisson to be... He's been back for a while now, Alisson. He's had about 5 games now. So...
Right.
Yeah. I want him to get a clean sheet. That's like very important to me.
Okay.
Not because I've got OCD.
Okay. I got you. I got you. And let me see too. Same for Unilante.
Or about Ibu?
About Ibu, about Ali. Players. I mean, we've got some. There's just some people that are thinking that we're at a place with this club or with the team that obviously I just saw some reports coming in about Kirkez being a more viable selection possibly. I honestly do wish that we could go for. I honestly do wish that we could go for. Is it 2-1 already in that game? Jeez. I honestly do wish that we could go for Jedi. To be honest with you, I think Robinson would be an absolutely fantastic addition to the team.
Yeah,
it would be it would be a player that has the pace, isn't going to get bullied off the pitch by anyone, and who's crossing. His ability to cross has taken a higher level. He's really made a real concentration on improving that portion of his game. It was something that I thought that was a deficit or something, or a little bit of a negative in his game, but he has done well with it. Had 2 assists yesterday, but obviously we're not going to be able to probably pry him away from Fulham in January window. So.
Sure. Yeah. They're not on the radar, apparently.
What's that?
They're not on the radar. They're not on the radar, apparently. Profile. I was watching someone do a thing earlier on about it, saying about the kind of fullback that he wants on the left, and that it almost certainly won't be like an overlapping fullback like a Robinson, like a Kirkes, like a Robert. He wants a different style of fullback, is what they were breaking it down as. Which not saying it wasn't Arne Slot saying this, but he was talking about it like that. Because I've heard it mentioned before that we weren't looking at Kirkes because he didn't suit the profile. I was like, well, he really does in all the other ways, but now maybe that makes a bit more sense. But yeah, maybe it would make sense. It's like if he wanted someone like sort of Bradley on the left, he wants a Bradley on the right and someone else on the left, someone who can move inside a bit more. So that'd be interesting to see. That's just another angle on it.
Yeah.
But if you want a guy that plays the way Robinson does, then yeah, absolutely. The only thing holding him back is his age, but Kirk has all that.
Yeah. I see.
Big up 27, you know what I mean? He's got some years in him.
Big up Max too. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jack. I didn't mean to speak over you.
Like the lad from Robinson, the lad from Fulham, got 2 assists the other day.
Yeah,
he's playing pretty well. I think the age thing, like,
I understand
weird.
that. Yeah.
Like, is he old or like 27 for me is sound?
No,
I think
exactly.
He's prime then.
So,
Say again.
Right.
Yeah, no. I say, yeah, no, you're right. It's not like we're talking about 27, like it's 37. It's not.
Yeah. It's not.
It's just, the way they look at it, like that we buy him 23, 24, this kind of thing. Like,
yeah, but Salah
I'll send you the video. It's just an interesting kind of breakdown on it, what the type of left back you might be looking for.
Like for me, the guy at Bayern is like my favorite. I like the guy at Fulham and the guy at Bournemouth. Yeah, but for me, the guy at Bayern is the one I would love to have. Davies, Phew. He's quality.
Yeah. Big up, Ant. Big up. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
No, Antoine, bless brother.
Yeah. We definitely. We have. It's interesting too. Like as in yesterday, we were speaking on the Chiesa thing. We were speaking on even the Curtis Jones and Elliott thing. The Elliott stuff is starting to heat up a little bit more. I saw David Lynch even speak on the fact of that he does think that it is something that maybe if you are someone that wants to see Elliott be a part of this club going forward or having a future with this club, it is something of somewhat of a concern, which is a little bit troubling. I think that I wouldn't want to see him leave the club. I think he's a certain asset that we should utilize more so than we are currently. But do you think that in this January window, where do you think is the primary concern that you would like to strengthen? And then if you are going to strengthen it, who is the player that you're going to push to find a exit for? We can go. Let's bring Nalante into the conversation, and then we'll go JK, Brian. And if you have someone in I know Ant's in the house, I already know who he's going to say, but be something that be a really a viable choice, a choice that we can actually get. Nalante is still on mute, so let's go JK. Let's go JK.
I'm caught with a centre back and like a DM tough guy, someone who's going to just sort the mess out. I like Chukwemeni. I think he's the sort of solid type of character who could play next to Gravenberch when it comes to like tough games. So that would be the option I'll go with. Even the guy at Brighton, is it Believer? He's pretty nifty as well.
Believer, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing well.
You know what's
I knew
interesting?
him about him before they bought him. Like, what did we get this guy? Believer. He cost him 8 million. He cost him 8 million or something.
Yeah, but we're going to be. You have to pay us a monthly fee, JK. That's the thing. You pay big bucks.
I feel like I'm in Gordon
And on
Ramsay's
top of that, right now. Yeah, I know. Nalante's doing a little Gordon Ramsay in the background. I can hear it. What I was going to say is, you know what's interesting is we've had two links. We've had two links to Brighton. The two links being the player you just mentioned, and also to João Pedro as being another link to it. And what's interesting about it, and again, this is how you have to take, I guess, all the transfer links you hear with a grain of salt. There's no way that Brighton is going to transfer those two players to us unless we pay a pretty penny for all of those players or both of those players. And neither one of them is going to be, even if we go for just one of those players, it's still going to be a nice chunk of change to get both of those or get one of those players in. I know Brighton is a team that we have done business with. Obviously, they're a team that doesn't mind doing business with us, which is great to see and hear. But it's still one of those cases where, yeah, we're that headline is not going to come cheap at all. But Brian, what about yourself? Do you believe that this is where what we have to do, or what we have to do is like go into this January window, get a player, and if you do believe that, then who's the player and who's the player that would have to then probably make way?
I don't subscribe to the whole fact that somebody has to make way. I mean, yeah, we did always going to go on the bench. People will be injured. There'll be room for you could bring in somebody in midfield, and it wouldn't mean someone would have to leave. You know, maybe Tyler Morton doesn't get as many minutes on the bench, or Neone doesn't get appearances. You know, if you could bring in someone in a position to strengthen the team right now, then that's what your job is to do, is go out and strengthen the team always. I would bring in, I'd bring in a midfielder. And if they say they've moved on from Zubimendi, but they obviously haven't moved on from the idea that maybe there's room there to be done. If you need to sell Endo to make it
No, that's
happen, to make proper room. But no, you're asking me. So
no.
you
I
want
know. I was just gonna say you're solely. I
yeah.
know. I didn't say. Calm down. All I'm saying is, I just wanted to say that the Zubamendi deal. You're right. Is not off. Apparently, it's not done and dusted as some people think it is. But go ahead.
No,
That's all I
Arsenal
was
fans
gonna say.
do. Yeah.
Arsenal fans think it's a done deal.
They're celebrating, bro.
But
They've done
yeah,
thumbnails, everything.
but apparently it's not a done deal.
A lot of these. I'll quickly say something quickly about how I've realized how sports media outlets give people news, and what happens is they'll put bets on them on that news, and what will happen? It'll fall through, and the bookies win.
Huh.
It's like I'm telling you seriously, it's been like that for years, and I'm saying like information is only given out, and then it could change vastly very quickly and stuff, and a lot has to do with betting. I think, yeah. Like Zubimendi to Arsenal, he's coming. Like the what the journalists who are
I
putting
didn't really
around
think of it
there.
that perspective, but I can understand what you're saying. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Zubimendi going to Arsenal, and then all of a sudden he's at Real Madrid in the summer.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And
I mean, what Brian was saying is spot on. I was just trying to add that it's not again, the Zubamendi deal is not a done deal, but the way you would hear and think that it is, but I thought from from some of the way that we hear in these articles come out and considering that it was a deal that we obviously didn't complete. I thought that it was like, okay, we've moved on, but hearing that there's still a possibility, it's pretty wild to hear. That's all I was just getting at. So you're saying a
what happened
midfielder.
yesterday? A lot of the fans who were Liverpool fans, we didn't want him anyway.
I know. I saw that.
I've seen it all. Like,
you got to watch it out because you never know. It's still those same people. If that deal ended up working out, hypothetically, that deal works out, and it was the last thing you want to be is saying, "Oh yeah,
you really need him,"
and
all that.
Yeah. Now how do you don't? Now how's it look?
Yeah,
he's a part of our team.
I always say until it's confirmed officially, guy with a shirt in his hand, brick wall, taking photos, smiling, job done, but it's easy to make photos up nowadays as well. Oh look, Liverpool have signed the guy from Napoli, and they can just have that guy from Napoli with a Liverpool shirt in his hand, smiling for the cameras.
Even sometimes that doesn't necessarily guarantee it. All things considered, because I know who was there was the Frenchman that we had that we were bringing in. I thought didn't he have like the kit in hand or something? I want to say.
Oh, Fekir, that guy.
Fekir, yeah. Wasn't that pretty much like a done deal?
Yeah, he was there. Like he was ready to have a cup of tea, and that he was.
Yeah.
You ask how many sugars,
His brother ended up like trying to get more money out of it and ended up screwing that up. Something like that.
There's all kinds of stories about that one. So everybody that says something is someone else contradicts it, saying they're lying.
I got you.
Oh, they made it sound like they were there about to sign. Like, if you believe the kind of more extreme one, they said it was an injury first, but then you have people come out and saying like they were just about to sign the deal, and then like 8 other people walk into the room and go, "Yeah, where's my cut?" Which an exaggeration, obviously, but no, there's been so much claim and counterclaim about that one. It's really hard to know. Really hard to know what went on there. But it never really kind of worked out from after that.
Not really. And that's why I said, like, no one really talks about it. I think if he sort of smashed it after, all of it would be like, oh, what went on there? Why didn't we get him? Yeah.
Halftime 2-1. Arsenal 2-1. Everton 1-0. Crystal Palace 1-0. And Newcastle 2-0. All in the basically 70th minute of those three early games and halftime at the Arsenal game.
Yeah, there's 2 more games tomorrow.
Yes.
United, Southampton, I think.
Yep.
Ipswich
and Brighton.
Brighton, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be
You know what's
good.
going to make me laugh is that United go and lose to Southampton on a mad one. Like United recently sort of stepped up.
Your lips to God's ears, as they say, or something like that. You know,
if they do that, that would be so classic, man. That would be so classic.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be great. But
bless KJ. Cool, man.
Big up KJ. Big up KJ.
Everyone else in the chat, Marianne.
Yes, yeah. Big up Marion, KJ, Max. If I didn't say before, Bonkers, yep. Jimmy. A lot of people in the house sitting back, enjoying a good old day of watching football in the background and being able to, hang out with some of your favorite Reds. That's how I see it. So it's good times. Nice little Wednesday walk, as I like to say. So you'll never walk alone for sure. Let's see. I wanted to also show you this too. Let me get this so I can properly show you guys this. There was the talk about that goal, basically, that we let up. Marion brought it up earlier. And one unique thing about that was Brian and I were speaking about it earlier on as well. It was somewhat more a correlation of one player out of position that made another player have to try to show some type of coverage for that. Then they got the first foot wrong, and then they had to try to adjust. They could have put different things, like as in they could have possibly. I was thinking initially that too, was that Virgil maybe could have, like for instance, tried to play him off sides, but I think that it's unfortunately where he was already positioned. He didn't have enough time to react to put him offsides or put Chris Wood offsides. But I was going to show you the breakdown of this, and it was a very interesting breakdown. It was off of what they did online. I'm not sure if this is going to be. Is this? Let me show you the first slide. Actually, is that too small? Can you guys see that, or should I bring it up full screen?
Yeah, I can see it, but you go full screen. I think
I'll bring it full screen. I'll bring it full screen.
Yeah, that's better.
So this was that initial first goal that we let up. The thing that I recognized and saw that was something of why I was kind of, when I heard friend of the channel, or friend of myself, and I'm definitely a channel that I appreciate. When Matt from Coppish was basically doing the reviews, and then he actually was talking about stuff today, and he was breaking down this particular play. I think where he was missing out on his breakdowns, because he does some good breakdowns, by the way, and that is initially he was focused on Virgil van Dijk. He was saying how Virgil was a key part of why we got scored on in this breakdown, and that was where his focal point was. But why I wanted to bring this up is I'm sure Nalante might even try to chime in, because I know he's been somewhat critical of this player. But if you do see Ibu, let me see if I can get my pointer out for you guys. So you can see my pointer, right? This is Ibu right here, right in the middle of the circle, pretty much, right? Gravenberg is behind him. And then you can see, obviously, you can see Trent, Gravenberg, Virgil, and Robbo as that back line. Grav is noticing where that pass is going. You can already see that he's rotating to press and press on the defense on the player. But why I was bringing this up is because Ibu, unfortunately, is out of position. Realistically, he's way too high in his positioning. I don't know if it's because he's just cheating or the likes or whatever, or just but he's just way too high. This is he ends up. This is where the ball ends up. Now he was still in that spot. There you can see the arrow here. That's where Ibu should be. Ibu should be in that spot on the pitch. However, he's still in front of Gravenberg, basically. The line has been drawn showing the adjustment of where he should be, by the way. That's where he should be. When the ball is received, again, you can see this is back to where he actually is. You can see still in front of Gravenberg. That space in front of him, you now have Trent. Trent's just laying right back. I don't know what he's in space, I guess. I don't know. There's no one that he's having to take on. But you have Ibu and Grav occupying the same space and not doing anything, really. Like being in no man's land, as I like to put it. Chris Wood sees the space. Virgil is now got two players that he's technically probably got his eye on. Robbo's trying to hold a little bit of a backup for him. But Chris Wood sees the space in front of him. And I'll show you what I mean. This space right here is where Chris Wood is going to see the opportunity to go in. You can obviously see that there is a channel for that pass to be made. And it's a simple pass. But again, Gravenberg, Ibu, they're basically like hanging out together in a spot that they shouldn't be. Chris Wood makes the run. Both Ibu and Grav are starting to be tailored or sucked into trying to take away the oncoming threat. Virgil is now seeing Chris Wood make that run. So now he is reacting to Chris Wood. He is right here. Right here, he possibly could have tried to play Chris Wood off sides, but he is trying. The positioning is not there for him to do so. There's plenty of space. You have why I thought Virgil could possibly go back is he was on a walkabout, Robert. You're right about that. And why I was bringing up this is that if he does play him offside, there's boom, we have no problem. But there's a chance that Chris Wood adjust himself. He's on side. He still gets the pass in. Now all of a sudden you're on the back foot. Chris is on a breakaway. So you don't necessarily want to do that. But you do have Trent retreating, recovering, trying to bring out some extra help for the defense. Right here, the pass still hasn't been made. Virgil could have stepped up once again, but this is right about where you can see he's about to make this pass. Unfortunately, Trent can't get into the pathway. Bring Malante back in. Unfortunately, let me make sure I bring it up. Hold on a second. Okay. Unfortunately, Trent can't get into the pathway. Verge is eyeing it up. Then we have Chris Wood able to retrieve the ball. Right here is what I meant, I think, and this is why I brought up maybe Ali isn't 100. I mean, I know that no player is ever going to be 100% fit, but maybe Ali isn't at the fitness level or at the peak fitness level that Ali wants to and needs to be. Because despite the fact that it wasn't, all credit to Chris Wood taking the shot, makes a good shot, and it goes in the net, obviously. You can see that he has the angle pretty well taken care of. Whoops. He has the angle pretty well taken care of. Unfortunately, the next this picture was a picture taken on my phone. But he's unable to get to the shot, unfortunately. And I was bringing that up primarily because I know that initially you might have thought, oh, well, it's because of Virgil or because of this or because of that. But unfortunately, in this circumstance, it all started from Grab on a walkabout, as someone mentioned, Ibu way out of position, way out of the spot that he should be in. That all of a sudden breaks down to Trent running back, Virgil trying to cover two men, but then all of a sudden trying to focus on him. We have four men back here. And Ali positioned to cover, to make the stop on this goal. I don't know what you think, but I believe honestly that this goal was almost like a team goal in the sense of a team let up on a goal. And it all started with, unfortunately, us not playing, us kind of being lulled into, oh, the team that we're going is going to give us all the space and time and the likes. And that bit of lackadaisical actions ended up being why we got this result. Do you think elsewise, or the breakdown? Did you see something else in the breakdown that you wanted to point out or think is worth bringing up? I know that JK, when you guys go off mute, I'll bring you guys into the conversation. I'll know that you're ready. But was that how you saw it too, Brian, or did you see it differently?
Well, with that, I know he had started at some point, but I mean, obviously we can't run it back to the point where Grav is in the midfield and Ibu is in centre half. And why did Ibu end up where he was?
Mm-hmm.
So, how has he ended up in that position would be to see. But it's like, I just said, look, we kind of got suckered in there in that midfield. Yes, they still have to play the passes.
Mm-hmm.
You still
had
need
just
Elliot.
taken a header too, by the way. I think he'd gone up.
Got sucked upfield.
Yeah, he got sucked in. He did a header and went up, but rather than he stayed in that position rather than retreat back to.
They were waiting to switch. Yeah, they were just like sometimes when you see from a corner, you can see behind what's Trent doing on the right and Rob was on the left, or Trent on the left and Rob on the right. It's just a phase of play, and they'll switch back as soon as there's an opportunity to do it. But yeah, Ebo was probably not. The danger is up here. The danger is up here. I'm going to stay up here. But they did it well. They played it around us in that area. They suckered it. Yeah, no, I wasn't like, because there was some people saying, "Oh, Ali should have saved that." I was like, "Come on, like, can we not just admit like that they put a nice? Yeah, we can pick it apart and say we should have done this and do that, but can we not just admit that they put a nice move together and the guy struck a nice finish? We wouldn't be picking that goal apart if we scored it, So yeah, we Ebu, but like if it's, I mean, I know what you're getting at in terms of people saying Van Dijk should have stopped that goal. Like when you see it there in the first, but you can see who Van Dijk is looking at. Van Dijk is looking at his man on his left-hand shoulder.
Right.
He's not looking at everybody else's. So he's at some point, yeah, he does have to switch. But that's the thing. Like when the ball is played quick, that will catch a defender out, and that's what we got done. We got sucked into the midfield, bang, 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 and it's a goal. And then they can just shut up shop for the rest of the game. But yeah, it's look, Ibu will probably learn from these things. He does have a habit of, like you say, when there's a header to be won outside the box, he'll go and attack it and he'll kind of follow it up the pitch a bit. He does sometimes. He just say, fuck it, I'm just going to go with this. And he lets his momentum carry him up and he gets involved and he stays up a little bit. So maybe he drops back in, Grav, then, But that is evil. Sometimes he does sort of say, no, just let me go and deal with this. You just sit back there. And maybe he just thought, like, it's quicker for me to go and deal with this than to drop and let Grav switch back in front of me. And they just got caught in two minds, and that's what happens when you get caught in two minds. You're in trouble because you end up doing nothing. When you get caught in two minds, you end up doing nothing. They did nothing there. They just got played around, and yeah, but no, I don't think you said, "Oh, that was Ibu's or not." That was VBD's fault, and certainly not Ali's fault. Maybe a prime tip top Ali gets an extra inch on the dive or goes down a split second earlier. I don't know, but it was still a good finish in the bottom corner.
It was a good finish. It was a good finish. I just thought
But collective failure, like you're saying, it's a collective failure, you know,
Right.
in terms of if you want to say whose fault was it, well, it was his fault, and then his fault.
Right.
It wasn't one dude that fucked it up.
Right. Agreed. It's 3-0, by the way, in that Newcastle game. Anthony Gordon has just scored the third goal for Newcastle.
Yeah, 2 goals and an assist for Isaac.
Yeah, it's on fire.
So is Gordon.
Yeah, Gordon and Isaac are both on fire right now currently for Newcastle. They were two players that weren't necessarily doing, what they're doing currently in the beginning of the year, but they have certainly stepped it up as of recently now that Newcastle is on some type of streak, some type of roll. Crystal Palace 2-0 over Leicester, 1-0 still Villa over Everton, and 2-1 56-minute of Arsenal game. Spurs, Arsenal. I can see what the chat was speaking on. I just wanted to bring up that I thought it would be interesting because, I think that sometimes when we try to say, oh, this person is the reason why we got scored on, oh, this person is that or this person is this, when you do look at it, a lot of times it's a collective. It's a collective a group of errors or maybe things that need to be addressed, as opposed to just one particular error by one particular person. But Robert is right. Virgil was animately angry about that. He was giving everyone a third degree. There's even a part and point when he was I think they got an opportunity and he was all like him and Dom were at each other's throats a little bit, apparently. It was kind of wild. I thought Dom had a good game yesterday too. But
yeah, I think he was our best player yesterday. His energy, he's linking up with Salah. I just wanted him to shoot more. I think he's got it in him. Remember that free kick? I think we were talking about it yesterday. Well, it's supposed to just have a whack, something different, Have Trent there, have Simicast there, but have Szoboszlai also there, just to run up and just whack it, We've always said Virgil as well, another guy. But for me, yesterday, Szoboszlai sort of carried on from that Tottenham sort of display, same sort of energy. I think in the FA Cup game, he sort of just kept it first gear, just to get some running in his legs, and I think yesterday he looked pretty good. I'm looking forward to seeing him Saturday again. I think Curtis sort of had his opportunity. I don't know with Curtis, not great. I think yesterday we were talking about him coming on yesterday. Every fan I've talked to about the game, they all said Chiesa should have jumped on the pitch instead of Jones. Because the way Nottingham Forest was sort of set up, they were telling us, come and attack us, we'll take the point. Come and attack us if you want.
Right.
I think Chiesa would have been perfect for that.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to have seen Chiesa's taking, Chiesa's ability to shoot yesterday, would have been nice. And even Elliott, I think, as well. Not saying, again, this is not saying Curtis Jones is a bad player, not saying that Curtis Jones is someone that we need to get rid of, right? Like none of that. I know it sucks that you have to even, drop that caveat, bring that context out to make sure that people don't think that you're trying to have a crack at the player. But yeah, that's what it is. Spurs without VDB. and Romero are a shambles in defense. Well, yeah, they aren't looking that good at the moment. 2-1 still. 2-1. Let me see what else you guys. But yeah, what? How about for yourself, Delonte? How did you see this play? The breakdown of this play, and because obviously it was a major. It was the one opportunity. It was the one real opportunity that they got, and I'm bringing it up because also because I have a follow-up question as well, and behind it.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Ibu was at fault for the goal. VVD could have done a little bit, but to close, react a little bit. But again, Ibu and then Trent, both out. So it's more Ibu. He's the main dominant factor. And then Ali, again, could have done better with it. So that's what I think. And it's frustrating because, again, I mean, we shouldn't be really saying this. Oh, we need to take the lead, but I think if we took the lead in that game, we would have won because Forest would have come out the shells a bit. They would have to at some point, and we would have hit them. But hindsight's a wonderful thing. I think we're in a position now. Then like it's happened, and Brentford. I mean, I guess every game is a must-win game, of course, but Brentford, we need to solidify and get back to winning ways as we did when we drew with Newcastle and Fulham with 10 men. Different circumstances. You got back in the winning ways, so we need to. That's not going to be an easy game, so we need to do that. And I think JK said, certain players, perform just hasn't been the same. So Slot's got some decisions to make. He really does have some decisions to make against Brentford because, and certain players need to be given a chance for me. Again, and I'll stick to what I said last night, certificates and stuff like that. Again, I'm the only one who will say this, Again, that's fine. I'll stand in my own island. I believe you should start. To be honest, Salah he ain't been great. He needs to be put on the bench. It's not the end of the world. And if things are happening, he can come and win. He's case to stretch his legs. Like I said, he's been fit. Yes, there's up games, stuff like that, but he needs to be unleashed. He's not a bum. He's not a crap player. He's a quality player. He's up there. He's like I said, not long ago, he was the best in Europe. And Slot can't use excuses of fitness. He was fit last season. He played nearly about 33 to 40 games last season. He's had his little knocks with us. He's been fit for the last month. So, but I know it's not going to happen. I'm just saying hypothetically. So, use him. Elliot, use him. And as good as Jones done yesterday, I don't want to see him in the 10 now because Elliot's fit. If we're doing the 10, unless injuries, is Sobo or Elliot. Jones can play, in the 2 or the 8 with Grav or Mac. So let's just get the system right accordingly, man, and use this squad to the best of abilities. Because, like I said, it's when we get to next month, February, once the transfer window ends, the 2nd or the 3rd. I mean, it's going to be very, very worrying that we're not going to make any signings and to have all 3 of those contracts not resolved. Let me tell you something, man. FSG, honestly, man, there's a lot to answer for. And the Subi thing, again, I know you did say 12 you picked up from sources it's nowhere near done or like they're saying on the articles. Is that correct, right? Okay, yep. So whether it's him or whatever, I just hope I don't know. I just hope we just be decisive because, Edwards and Hughes at FSG, like I said, if this happens end of February, we have no signings and these contracts are still up in the air. My word.
Oh, that's what's going to happen, in my opinion.
Well, JK, yeah. No, sorry, JK. I was going to say if that happens, And the classic words of that Portuguese goat, well, not goat, but that Portuguese goat. I don't mean goat in a good way, but if I speak, there'll be trouble. If I speak now, there'll be trouble.
There'll be trouble.
Please speaking.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've said, like, you know what I've done? I've sort of separated the owners sort of topic from what happens on the pitch. Otherwise, you can just go like round and round in circles, you know. Like for me, the owners don't seem to be with the program. What the hell? What do Edwards and that talk to him about? Like, what are they talking about? Are they talking about the weather? Like, what are you actually talking about? Are you actually saying? Are you talking about how well Slot's done with just giving him one signing of a crooked Chiesa, or like, and thinking, you know what? Look, we're still at the top. Let's sort of tighten up and let's get a guy in who Slot needs to finalise these fucking leagues. You know, there's no interest in it at all. Same happened last winter with the FFP sort of news coming out. It all worked out well for them, and same again now. Do we actually want to win? We need a few legs in that squad. One or two, and it could make a difference. You know, why I say that is like Messi, for example. He was a one-man team sometimes on his own. He'd beat teams, you know. These other players are just there just to support him, you know, just in case. But like one player can make a difference.
Yeah.
Agree. What I will say is, before you go on 12, just to reach about, I know I'm going back because I did want to answer this, but obviously we went off subject. In terms of that left back, Jedi, yeah, I mean, forget about Kirkes and who's the other person I've been linked with apart from Jedi? But anyway,
Jabba the Hutt.
Davies?
yeah, right, yeah.
You mean
Davis,
Davy?
yeah. I guess so, yeah. I mean, I'm
I
not
like
really
Davies.
that.
He's my favourite.
I do, but I'm not that big on him, Davis. I'm not fussed about him, to be honest. I really am not. Robertson, for me, I mean, Davis might be young, is a better all-round defender for me. Jedi than Davis. You know, he can defend, he can cross, he can get in there, man. He's the left back we should. But if we're not going to get him and Hillier and someone else in the chat, big up, they've been watching scouting, man. Get Jero Hatto.
Yeah, Nori.
Jero Hatto covers left back and centre back. And yes, he might be 18, and people say, but now he can play. He can play in this squad right now. He's full of. He's going to be. Trust me, man. He's going to be a world class defender. 18 years old, left back, centre back. For now, to the end of the season, to cover 2 parts if needs be. Any injuries, mate? It's a no brainer, and we can get him for a good price as well. It's a no brainer. He's the guy we should be getting. If we're not going to get Jedi.
Villa, Crystal Palace, 2-0. 2-0 winners, Crystal Palace. 1-0 winners, Villa. By the way, the 3-0 is about to possibly go final for Newcastle. Just so you know, yeah.
Just need Spurs to score one now. Yep.
2-1. Yeah, 2-1.
2-1 right now. I need a 2-2 there. That'd be cool.
Yeah, Desmond needs to bring a sermon to the Emirates.
Desmond's going to show up today in North London.
Yeah. Desmond needs to go to big up, Callum. Good to see you. Good to see you. It's been a little while. Everton might possibly do so if they continue to struggle despite.
I don't know why they sacked Dyke. I don't understand that.
I think they tried to maybe get the new coach bounce.
Same
try
JK.
to get them separated.
I feel they want they're going to a new stadium next season, Everton know they're not going to win the league this season. Everton are not going to do really anything, just bar a few corners and stuff. So for me, I think Dyke weren't sort of suiting the new project coming up with the new stadium. I think Dyke made them a bit of a solid team. Defensively, a lot of clean sheets. Made them tougher to sort of break down. I think they should have just stuck with him.
Yeah, I agree.
He's a Liverpool fan as well, Dyke. Mad one. Yeah, he is. He's a Liverpool Van Dijk.
I believe you. I believe you. Well, a lot of what I was bringing up though before about at least when it came to the Newcastle to the Forest game was primarily because I know there's a commentator or not commentator, excuse me, a content creator. Make sure I get his name correct. Name is Wolfie, right? He does a keep saying Newcastle. He does a
the
Forest.
Forest guy. Yeah, he's on the Coppish the other day. Yeah,
Oh,
old
was he on
Wolf dog.
Coppish as well now? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness, this
he's on
guy's
Coppish. They
all
usually
of a
speak to
sudden
him.
he's everywhere, man. This
Mm.
guy is everywhere.
He'll be in the championship in 2 years. Trust.
Yeah, I think we can only hope. He certainly has a lot of chest. He was basically saying how yesterday, in his eyes, he believes that Forest should have won. He also believes that Forest was the better team, and that it was that Forest is a force to be reckoned with. Now, I don't know if all those statements are correct. I would certainly not say all those statements are correct in my mind. Maybe not any of them, but I did not. It's funny how people are trying to tell him and some others are trying to make it seem like we were just unfortunate to not get a result in that game. That goalkeeper, once in like most of the games that we end up losing, it ends up more times than not being a goalkeeper standing on his head. And we have to give it to Sells. Absolutely played really well. I think Diego could have probably had a hat trick in that game in the few minutes that he was in. He had some great opportunities. The one he had obviously he had the goal, but he also had two other really, really good opportunities to score that Sells just made some really good saves on. Sells made one good save, and then the other one was I forget what player it was, but it was a Forest player saved it made a clearance off the line. He's playing the near post, and he actually was still there, so he made an actual deflection. And then yes, that guy, Max. And then I also thought that Salah had quite a few shots that I thought could have gone in as well. He could have gotten easily a brace, if not with all the attempts he had. He probably could have gotten a hat trick himself, if the Cards had just played right, but he didn't, and that's just it. But would you go as far as to say that you thought that we were lucky to win that game or lucky to draw that game, or was and he's right in his assessment that Newcastle was the better team yesterday?
Not in the Forest. No, I think that game was ours to be won yesterday. Really disappointed in Forest, actually. Surprised with their tactics. I think if they put their foot down, they could have caused us problems yesterday.
Possibly.
Got their wingers, Hudson-Odoi, Alanga on the other side, not involved in the game at all. And I was really sort of surprised about that. I think, was it Robertson and Trent's defending that kept them out of the game? God knows. But I think they sort of never came out of second gear, Forest. We sort of stepped it up second half. And I think we deserved to win that game yesterday.
Yeah, he was complaining about I think one of the reasons also why he was saying that he thought we should have won, or excuse me, that his team should have won, is because he believes that the goal that we scored was goalkeeper interference. He thinks on Cody. It was checked. Yeah. Every goal was checked.
Yeah.
But that was his statement. He said he thought that we got away with one. That's what he thought. And he actually thought that the reason why we drew that game was because of Nuno made a mistake in substitutions.
It's good to hear the opposite view. It's good to hear the opposite view. It's good to hear the opposite view. Two teams drew 1-1. One was called Liverpool, the other was called Forest. Guess what? The Forest fan thinks they should have won it. The Liverpool fan thinks they should have won it. This is how this shit works.
Right. Yeah, I guess so.
We need to ask the
That's
Villa
fucking
fans.
football. He wouldn't be a Forest fan if he didn't think they should have won it.
Sometimes you never know. Sometimes they might be. You can be honest.
No,
sometimes
look,
and be like, "Oh, we lucked out," or you know.
Yeah, look, I'm just saying in that game, that could have gone either way, as we both know. At 1-1, it only takes one mistake, and then they get a second goal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a horrible, tough game. Look, it's just interesting to know what they think they're doing. He had 3 points that you were talking about at the start. Whenever you say, would you go so far as to say as, it's an instant no, because I'm never going so far as to say as, whatever the question is. But were they unlucky? No, I didn't. I was a little bit kind of disappointed in how much they drew back.
That's what,
they could have probably pushed it that a little bit more and made more of a game of it. If I was a Forest fan, I think, okay, we're sitting back here, but maybe we could, I think it was what was the second thing that he said that they should have, but what are they? Are they a force to be reckoned with? Right now they are, yeah. Right now they absolutely are, yeah. I wouldn't want to play them again tomorrow. Nobody's going to want to play them. What's going to happen to them in a year's time? Like our Forest back, as it were. No, this is there'll be a return to like they're where they are because City are dropped off and other teams, but they'll go back to kind of six. Like for them to even be like in the top 8 is a huge success. So are they forced to recommend? No, not at all, because their best players will get picked off. So but they're having a great season right now. They're having a great season. They might bloody a few noses, but that's about it, really. And fair play to them. They put up a good attempt yesterday. We played them twice now. We haven't beaten them, so we can't go around lording it over them. They've beaten us once and got a draw the second time. So we kind of have to take your medicine sometimes.
Okay. Max thinks that Forrest was brilliant. I know some. I can understand that they're getting results, and they're obviously getting the results that they need to contend in a lot of these games. But at the very same time, if it's just sit back and defend and hope to get a counter and not concede, good luck to you. I don't know if that's obviously not entertaining football, but it's also football that might not necessarily get you the kinds of results that you're looking to get. I think I don't know if that's a sustainable. You end up being. I mean, like we've seen it with Everton. We've seen it with like other teams that play this low block, and that's like become their DNA almost. You're almost doomed to. They're having success right now. They're almost doomed to not be able to be the teams that put out not only entertaining football but also possibly get into contending for Europe type football, in my opinion.
Yeah, he can do it right now. He can do it right now, and I think it's incredibly brave, and I think it's bloody in the noses of people because all these new managers, new head coaches have to come in with their vision of how they're going to play the game, progressive. No manager gets a job at a top club by going in and saying, "I'm going to play anti-football. I'm going to play 28% possession." Nuno has done that, and like I said earlier on, all these guys with their new the new way of doing things, it's kind of a little bit dependent on the assumption that the other coach is also going to try and play football.
Right.
It kind of gets clogged up when someone goes, nope, we're not going to play football. We're just going to sit here. You can do your thing, and we're going to hit you long, old school. We're not going to play the game you expect us to play. That's what got under Klopp's skin, or Slot's skin.
Mhm.
And I think
Under
Nuno's
Klopp's
been
skin,
very,
under Klopp's skin too. He used
yeah,
to hate when teams would, like, rather than play, they would just sit back
yeah.
and
But
defend,
it's like
defend,
you can do it
defend.
at Forest. You can't do it at like Spurs. That's the thing. Like, and what will happen is if this starts working for them and they get a bit of success, the fans will be like, "Oh yeah, that's good, but can we not start playing a bit better football?" And then it'll all fall apart.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but
agreed.
right now it's working well for him what he's doing, and they're loving it because they're not expecting the fact that they are where they are. They would take 10% possession a game. They're reveling in, they're getting in, they're buying into the identity right now, because they were expected to be relegated by some people's metrics, and they're now up in the freaking Champions League spots. So he could come out there driving a clown car and paint everybody orange. He could do whatever hell he wants, you know what I mean? And they'd go with it because of what's happening in the league.
Right.
But yeah, you were talking about like playing that kind of football isn't sustainable long term, especially if they do get some success. But also, like, yeah, it isn't going to get you a job at Spurs or a bigger club guy going and say, "I'm going to play this type of football." But I just think he's just decided he's come up with a way of stopping people doing what they do, and more power to him.
Yeah. Possible. They're trying to get a possible penalty out of it. They did not get a penalty, by the way. Doesn't look like they're going to get the call. Spurs making a little bit of a break to try to knot this up, equalize at 2-2, but it's still 2-1 at the 80th minute. So yeah, it's Forest is certainly a team that is. Do you think there's going to be a fall off for them this year? Do you think this is something that they can? Do you think they can maintain this for, the rest of the season? And if so, do you even think that they are title contenders?
I'll leave it open to lads.
Yeah. JK or Milante? I see JK's not on mute, but Milante, how about for yourself? Okay. Well, Brian, looks like you're the hot man out. I'm sorry. You want to answer that one again too?
Yeah, they're not title contenders. Will they drop? Are they out? Well, obviously they're out of the League Cup. Still in the
Not a
FA
League
Cup,
Cup.
having
They're
Europe.
still in the FA Cup, right?
Yeah, they don't have European football.
Yeah,
They have a nice big squad. They players still coming back that were out.
which helps. That does help.
Yeah, I think title contenders. No, they're relying on the big man up top to kind of finish those chances, and that will. Hey, look, he
Come and
could have
go.
an iconic
Yeah.
season.
He actually
Keep
is.
going as he is.
I think he is their top goal scorer this year.
Oh, by a mile. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, they're going to be relying on him staying fit. Awani needing to pick up the slack, but they'll need some pieces to fall into place. But geez, those fans would have bitten your hand off at the idea of a top 10 finish. So anywhere they end up now is kind of gravy for them. But they might not contend for the title, but they could bloody a few
Yeah.
noses along the way. They could be a problem for a few teams, which, like I said, after watching them do that and knowing what they do, you might come up with a strategy, but nobody's going to want to go out and play against them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're a team definitely that is not only trying to contend for top four, but like you said, but a team that was a possible team to get relegated last year with the sanctions and the likes.
They won't do a Leicester. Well, we said Leicester wouldn't do a Leicester, and then Leicester did a Leicester. So
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see if the lads are back. JK, are you with us? Oh, let me put him on mute just in case.
Sound like
And maybe I don't know
Yeah.
if he is. Okay, you are.
he's
Okay.
back, yeah.
Yeah. Your thoughts? Do you believe that they can? I keep saying Newcastle. I don't know why.
What's up with Newcastle, bro?
I know that's right. Because probably because they just played and they did really well. Forest, Nottingham Forest.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick with that. They'll be relegated to the Championship for the next 3 years.
Okay.
I think like Gibbs White, good little player. Does he want to play bigger than Forest? I think he does.
By the
Spent a
way,
lot of money on him. didn't they?
Odegaard just had an absolute sitter and missed it. He got saved, I should say. He didn't miss it. It was saved by the goalkeeper. Absolute sitter. Say again, JK?
No, carry on, bro. It's cool.
Mhm.
It's cool.
No, JK, you're just talking about Gibbs White, and I was just saying they paid nearly 40 million quid for that.
Yeah.
Like even when they got him, it's not like even they paid fucking big money
From Wolves, yeah.
from Wolves, wasn't it? Yeah, like
Yeah. He
that's
better
a
not end
huge
up at
fee
Man
for
United
that.
or somewhere. Mhm.
He's looked a bit tasty against us, hasn't he? Like little Zidane turns in the middle, you can see what the
He's
what
become
the
a good
hype
player.
is. You know? Yeah, it's great on the ball.
Yeah.
Great on the ball. You know.
I think him and Anderson played pretty well yesterday. I think Szoboszlai and Gravenberch played well for us. McAllister not so great. But I think like when you look at Forest, the guy at the back, what's his name, Murillo?
Rio, yeah,
Yeah,
great player.
like they're going to be teams sort of looking at him.
Yeah.
Hence why I feel. But Forest's guy, the owner, he don't mind spending a bit of money. He's even got in trouble
No.
spending too much, I think, you know?
Yeah. They
So,
bought about 50 players in about 2 transport. They got promoted. Basically, bought bought a whole new squad, about 25 players. Then the second season in, I think, brought in another 23 players or something. Had turnover, obviously. So since they brought what they've done is insane. The amount of players they bought and sold. Eventually, you're going to end up with some good ones.
that's true.
Lewis Skelly just got a yellow card, by the way, for trying to time waste.
I don't believe it. Arsenal, the classy club, the team of Wenger and great football and how to play the game right, time wasting. I don't believe it. I mean, I don't believe it.
Rather than try to, he was
Half.
getting subbed out. He was getting subbed out. It was a corner. He's getting subbed out, and rather than try to go, he tried to go to go rather than to just go off the pitch. He tried to like walk towards the board and take his time.
Yeah, you got to do the other thing now. You got to go off at the closest point.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Arsenal are just, oh my goodness. They are a reflection of their coach, complete reflection of their coach. And I will say this too, though, they are definitely trying to get it over the line here because they're trying to keep the crowd engaged. They're trying to pump them up. Gabriel's pumping them up. Zinchenko's pumping them up. Saliba is trying to pump up the crowd.
What is it? Still 2-1?
Still 2-1.
Still 2-1.
Still 2-1.
The thing is, we play before Arsenal next. We play Brentford. They play Villa away on Saturday.
Which is going to be a very difficult game for them.
And then the weekend, and then the next week around of games, we'll be playing first again.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for us too. Brentford's not an easy
Yeah, but
game.
I don't want to see really fans getting a bit, oh, we're going to win it, we better not bottle it and stuff. Come on, man. We've got a good team, you know. For me, the owners, they need to do their part now. Put the hands in their pockets. Say, here, 2 guys help you along for these push, you know. I think the players and the manager, the new manager, have done their part, you know, so far. Now it's about time the owners did a bit of looking after the club, you know.
Yeah.
Very important.
By the way, that guy, I will say this: Bun Yates, the captain for Forest. Since we were talking about Forest, but I just want to get that out of my system. And also,
even the whole team, I don't like Forest.
He was a piece of work yesterday. And why that just came to mind is because he is on some Bergvall style settings. Bergvall's the same player that got away with the second yellow. Should have been a second yellow. He was just in this game. He pulled the player, like they were trying to get positioning for the corner kick, and he made a little bit of a run. He was inside of the goal, and he pulled the arm of the Arsenal player. When he pulled the arm of the Arsenal player goes down, clips Bergvall's leg, and then Bergvall rolls around the ground as if he had just gotten fouled from this other guy. And I'm just like, yo. Fun, that guy.
Have you noticed that our players don't do them sort of tricks? We keep it pretty conservative. We keep we're not cringe. Our players wasting time, really falling over. You know, we don't do none of that.
Yeah.
It's mad. We're very professional.
Catching, like, how many times there was parts and points of that Forest game where Slot was in the fourth official's ear every time Sells caught the ball. He was counting.
Yeah.
He was counting. He was like verbally counting how long he's holding on to the ball, because he was, it was time wasting as much as possible. He would catch it, be an easy catch, but then he'd fall to the ground, then he'd help get back up. Or if it was a goal kick, he would do the routine of going back, clicking out, making sure he clicks out the grass from his cleats, and then taking a breath, doing a quick warm up, and then going out. It's like, that's some extra settings of dark arts right there. But I mean, everyone, there's a lot of teams that do it. It's just
everyone does it.
Yeah, a lot of teams
do it. Gotta live with it.
Yeah. Gabriel, another yellow card. I'm not sure if it was for time wasting or not, but he just got a yellow card.
No, he's the one player I can't stand at Arsenal. Forget it. I can't wait to play them at Anfield. Yeah. Look, we've been away. We went to Arsenal away. We went to Forest away, and we've had Chelsea and Man City at home. We've not lost any of them games.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal away, Forest away now. Actually, we lost to Forest at home one, but Forest away and Arsenal away, we did okay. We got a point, But for me, Arsenal, like that, they'll be 4 points behind if they win today. But we got a game in hand. Yeah,
a game in hand.
Yeah, I'd rather play that game soon as. I wish it was today. Like Brian said a few weeks ago, I'd rather have the points on the table than have them a game in hand, and that's a fact.
Yeah, they'll be only 4 points behind us. I know. They'll be definitely. You'll have your e-gals out there telling us, giving the analyzations of our own games, of how we're going to lose this game and lose that game, and how Arsenal's going to win every game going forward, basically.
Oh, they're going to get Ouija boards out and everything.
Oh man, he is.
Yeah.
He's a piece of work. Oh man. We're into stoppage time of this game. There's about 2 minutes left of stoppage time.
I don't think Desmond's gonna come. It don't look like there's no. What do you think, 12? Desmond?
Desmond makes an appearance. It will be a glorious appearance.
He'll be the most famous Desmond
around.
Yeah. Go on, man. Go on, Desmond.
Definitely. It'll be he'll definitely be one. For sure. But we are definitely about to see what the result's going to be, if we're going to be 4 points ahead of this team or not. All the same, I still don't I still don't necessarily think that Pedro Porto almost made it really interesting.
Yeah.
Almost. I can't stand Pedro Porto either.
He's a good little player, though.
Yeah, he is. He's a good player.
I think Real Madrid should go after him.
If he plays for your team, he's a good little player. How about that? Says he plays with Spurs and he's all about taking his shirt off on an own goal.
Against Arsenal, I don't care what he does. Ping went in for 50 yards. Take his shirt off.
Absolutely.
Against Arsenal tonight.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean, get it and just ping.
He was at Man City.
Yeah,
he's another one. He was at Man City.
Yeah, he is a piece of.
They could have had him instead of Kyle Walker for absolutely nothing, but no.
Yeah. Yep, they could have. Spurs could be a lot different of a team if some of the players they've let go were there. They could be a lot different of a team if they stayed patient with some of their coaches too. They've had some really good
City. I mean,
City.
City.
My fault.
Yeah, Porro was at City. So I'm saying if they'd held on to him, they're looking at losing Walker now. They'd have no problem. They'd have a Porro there.
Yeah. I don't think Pedro Porto would have stayed though.
It's not that long ago, they could have loaned him out and bring it back. Some of these guys, man, Cole Palmer. What would they do? What would City do for Cole Palmer?
God, I hate Arteta so much. Oh, he's so annoying.
Even KJ wants a Desmond, man.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Go on, man.
Arteta's doing fist pumps to the crowd.
Of course he is. He's going to take these little glimpses of success. That's all he's got. He'll win a corner. Arsenal will win a corner. He'd be sliding down the bloody pitch like Mourinho used to.
It's North London derby. It's a North London derby. It's a North London derby.
Yeah, but
he's going to make it.
That's
Brian, all he has to make at the moment.
They've had a bad week, Arsenal. And I feel the amount of fans were get him out of our club. It's like it's out of control. Arsenal and Tottenham fans, they really hate their managers. Like, they really don't want Arteta there. It's like, now they'll be like, oh, we're only 4 points behind Liverpool now. Watch. That will be the flex now.
It's 50 at the moment. It's 50-50. It's 50-50, JK, because I can tell. I've spoken to enough of them recently, and a few of them. It's 50-50 on Arteta in and Arteta out, but the 50% that are out, Arteta out, are basically 90% of the people that are online, and the people.
Yeah.
The people who want or are happy for him to stay are the people who just don't go on YouTube.
That's a good point.
It's the noisy ones that are like, get him out, and all that. Yeah, I wouldn't want him anymore either. I wouldn't be able to stand the guy. And he's no back record of success to. It doesn't look like it's going anywhere fast either. So, but yeah, it is. I couldn't that was one of my main problems with Brendan, as kind of narcissistic as it may sound or self-obsessed it may sound. Like, I hated Brendan because I knew every weekend I was going to have people I knew going, what the hell did Brendan just say? Or what did Brendan just do? You're always having to go, yeah, I know he's really cringe and he talks a lot of shite, but I mean this and that. It's just like, you get sick of defending the guy. Got sick of defending Ren. I'd be sick of defending Arteta and his antics and his
Oh,
tactics.
absolutely.
Oh, just
There's only so many times you can revert to, like, well, win the dog or whatever the name of the dog is, right?
Yeah.
Their dog mascot, Win.
You know, and what's he got to? It's like, oh, this guy, man, he got us a charity shield and he got us an FA Cup. Like the lads pointed out, he joined that FA Cup team when it was already deep in the competition. You know, and that's literally it. It wasn't even his team. He won that cup with them. Ever since then, he's got a charity shield and a whole lot of hype, a whole lot of noise, a whole lot of intensity, a lot of money, a lot of signings. Declan Rice for 100 million quid. Where's the trophies?
They said, well, they're not there, and it's one of the. I was hoping that Spurs could have gotten a result today, primarily because you're going to have a lot of noisy gooners that are going to all of a sudden be ready to stick their chest out again and, you know, engage in the conversations and be loud with the, you know, with the thoughts that they're really going to be able to fight all the way through to the end for this. The North London Derby is something that we were hoping to see. It's always a very difficult setting for both teams because there's a lot of pressure on them. Big game. Unfortunately for Spurs, they could not come up with a result today. Could not. And 2-1 losers they are today to the other losers.
I don't feel like we're under pressure. You know, someone in the chat said we're under pressure now. For me, sometimes pressure is good. I think sometimes it keeps the players sort of keeps them like on their toes. You know, I don't feel pressure in it. Like for me, I know what we're good. Like we're very good. If we were poor, and we were fluking these results, and we're at the top of the league, I'd be like, oh yeah. But come on, man. In 1 week, we beat Man City and Real Madrid 2-0. This team. You know? It doesn't matter what's going on at Real Madrid or Man City. We beat them two teams 2-0. I just don't want to see Liverpool fans start like getting worried and shit. Like for me, you got to be a bit positive and think, you know what? We'll do this. You know? Like be positive about it. Like for me, other fans love seeing Liverpool fans getting their worries on now.
I think they like seeing us get divided. I believe that's why it's like I can't stress this enough. Is that, you know, they love to see the division amongst us. They want to see us divided. They want to see us have the turmoil and the talking going on with our team. You know, whether it's with these contracts or the certainty of our players, you know, carrying on with the team, or whether it's now I saw, and it's kind of interesting you said that too, because I even clipped it up. Saeed, who's does the Manchester United content creation, and let me pull up the picture of the actual his clip was basically pretty sure I have it. It says something like are we slipping, you know, because we had a little bit of a rocky start towards the beginning of this new year. Thought I had it on this phone. Let's see if I have it on this one. But it's one of those cases where I'm like, I'm not going to allow content creators out there. You'll notice that they'll get the content they'll get not even sometimes the content creators. They'll just get the people that, you know, like to talk trash on our own team and our own players. They'll get them to come on a lot of these channels, and they'll help sow the seeds of division amongst us. You know, someone
being pessimistic, if it's your vibe, carry on. You know what I mean? I ain't got time for that. Be up to tune, you know, be optimistic, be positive. Like it's an energy, you know, like we've let, like the guys wrote there, like a 10-point gap has gone to 4 now. Play that extra game in hand, it'll be back to 7. I'd rather play Everton. I'd rather just play Everton tonight. Let's sort it out. Let's ring them up and say, let's play it tonight. Get this
I wish we
fucking
could.
game in hand.
Yeah, I definitely wish we could.
You know what I mean?
So, it'd be nice to just get it over, rather, because the game in hand is always like it's a pain in the butt, especially when
pain in the butt, bro. And but we're gonna be playing on Saturday at 3 o'clock before Arsenal. So that'll be like the game in hand. So let's go and beat Brentford on Saturday before Arsenal play and get that 7-point gap there again. You know, that's for me the focus, you know. For me, I'm not worried about Arsenal. Come on, man. I ain't worried about no one. We're Liverpool. You know, be a bit confident in the team. Look what I'm just worried about is the owners not putting their hands in their pocket and giving us 2 guys. Forget the team. The team have done really well. You know, think about it. Look, as Liverpool fans, we're on top of the Premier League. We're on top of the Champions League. We've got there with a new guy who don't know, like who will know Virgil and stuff, but he's never worked with these guys. And also, we didn't buy anyone.
Yeah,
we should be counting our bloody blessings instead of like crumbling and thinking, "Oh, we're going to lose it all." Counting blessings that we're in this sort of position. Arsenal, City, Chelsea, everyone wants to be us right now. You know, just support the team, and it'll be okay, man. We're not playing great, yeah, of course, we're not playing great right now, and that's what I'm saying. We're not losing though. We lost that 1-0 against Tottenham at halftime. Sod that. But all in all, we're not losing games, even though we're not playing great. You understand my point? We could have lost all them games. Then points would have been 2 points now behind. You know, so.
All right. So Max is saying it's not about division. We cannot look at the table and say we're very good. We were top of all. We were top all the time, but our lead has now diminished. How have we been good since December? So. Okay, it's a good question. I can bring that up if you like. So, since December, we have, let me see, bring this up properly. All right, so since December, we have drawn Manchester United. We lost what was the score of the League Cup game against the score? Was it
West Ham?
Yeah, it was 1-0, right? I wanted to make sure it was 1-0. So we drew against Manchester United in a derby. We lost 1-0 against in a League Cup game with a adjusted squad, obviously, but all the same, we lost 1-0. We obviously won our FA Cup game, and we've drawn against the second, now the third place, but at the time the second team, and the only team that's beaten us, we drew against. I'm not saying that we are flying high and there's nothing to see here, but I will go as far as to say that it's not like we are on a 4-game losing streak or something, or a 3-game losing streak. It would have been nice to have beaten Manchester United. That would have been promising. But it's a derby game, so that's that's the roll of the dice sometimes when it comes to those games, and the sheer fact of not only was it a derby game, but it was like the conditions were like horrible to play in, but they had to play in it too. So I'm not saying this is because of the weather. I'm just saying that it wasn't ideal conditions for either team to play in to get a quality result out of the teams. But they did their thing, they did their work, and they got a draw out of us. The Spurs game, I think, should have been a draw. Personally, I think we cut it. I actually think that we should have won that game, to tell you the truth, 2-1. I think that obviously, or not, if not 2-1, if not 1-0 us. I don't think that they should have gotten the guy that scored the goal shouldn't have been on the pitch. I also think that Curtis Jones was fouled in the box. It wasn't called. That's all well and good. We lost. We got to do our business at Anfield. So that's all well and good. The obviously FA Cup game was what it was. Was a championship to team that we didn't necessarily have to like. It isn't really a benchmark to show or see where our progression is with getting back on our feet. The Forest game was something that I wanted to get revenge in. I wanted to definitely show that we are going to be able to compete and do what we need to do. But again, it's against a low block team that that had in their mind a draw was a win for them. And that's the difference. The draw is definitely a loss for us. That's how I'm looking at it. It's at least a point, but it's a loss. But again, I'm not trying to necessarily say that we can't play better, or that we definitely, some of the players that we've spoken on can't maybe get a rest and maybe get back to the same settings that they were previously. But I think we'll get a real good testament of where and what we have going for our team after this Brentford game, because Brentford's going to be a tough one this weekend. It's going to be a lot. Obviously, we don't want to give the opportunity for it to get pushed to 1 point with a game at hand. But we're also talking about the teams that are on our heels. It would be different. I'm just trying to get across. It would be different if it was City. If City was the team that was behind us with 4 points, and and we have this game in hand against the City of old. Okay, not the City this year, but the City of old. Then I'd be like, yes, this is concerning, because we have to be at some A game. We spoke on it earlier, and we spoke on it yesterday. How many points we think it's going to take to win the league, and I think that we have enough in the bag, or we have enough in the tank to get us through to the end of the season, to get enough points to win the league. And I also not only think that, I also think it's because I would like to see us get. I would like to project us get us like 89 to 90 points. That's where I would like to see us end up. But I don't think that's not going to be necessary for us to win the league. I'm just saying I would like to see us get 89 to 90 or possibly 90 points this season. And that's staying on course of what we've done so far in the first half of the season. If we are able to do that, I think we are assured the title. We'll probably have points to spare. But I think most likely 85, 84 to 86, probably around that range, could probably get us the title this year. And that's why I'm not panicking at the moment.
Yeah.
Let's get this win against Brentford, and then we move on.
None of us have said that we were good, Max. I've not said. I think we've been pretty poor since a long time, but we've not lost games.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference right now. I think if we were poor and lost games, I'd be panicking, because the points wouldn't be there right now.
Absolutely, that's where I'm getting at. Yeah,
there's a.
If United had beaten us, that would have been a different story.
Different story.
If we had ended up with a 1-0 loss again to Forest, then it would be a different story.
Different story. So you're gonna have ups and downs in the Premier League season. It ain't gonna be plain sailing. Yeah. Life's like that. You have your ups and downs. Football's gonna be like that. But I believe with a good signing or two right now, that will make a difference, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. If that means Harvey Elliott don't get a place in the squad for a while, fair play. Yeah, it is what it is. He's not getting game time anyway. So for me, make a move right now. Right. That's the only sort of thing I'm really worried about, is that I don't want players getting burnt out and we ain't got replacements there ready to go. Like for me, Endo, he could do a job, don't get me wrong, but fans will moan. If Endo's playing, like for me, he ain't done nothing wrong for Liverpool. He's doing pretty well, in my opinion. But
can I see that? I see. I got that.
Yeah, but it's for me just signing someone, 1 or 2 players right now. The team is doing okay.
Yeah.
Bit rocky in that, but for me, it's the
Yeah.
owners. They ain't gonna buy no one. It's as simple as that.
Well, I'm not
You
gonna get
know?
onto those for some points. If you guys do get a chance, it was something I was going to bring up, but I was speaking to Brian about bringing it up, but I wasn't able to get it put together and set up for us. But there's a really interesting segment by David Lynch. He's a journalist, very well, I would say a well-credited journalist, and he kind of went about speaking on, it's not just all about the owners, like as in, whether it's the actual, brain trust that is, Hughes and the likes, what they believe. And also it can get down to whether the coach is saying that he wants or needs players too. So I don't have an inside track on that personally. But I know that it was a point that he brought up that was very interesting. So it doesn't necessarily have to go with just the owners aren't going to spend money or not going to do this, not going to do that. It's more of what they as a collective think is necessary. And if someone is calling out for it, then they'll get it done or not get it done. And there's also a statement here, because we're going to end pretty soon. We're going to end next in like 5-10 minutes. But I'll make it that way so we can get through some of these comments. I don't agree with Trudon's statement of it would have been better to lose to United and beat Forest. I get the fact that you do get an extra point. It would have been, rather than 2 points, we would have gotten 3 points out of it. But there's no way you will ever hear me say it would have been better to lose to United ever. Okay. I don't care what
I don't care about that extra point. Even if it wins us the
you
league.
can have that extra point. I don't want to lose to United. And let's see. There's another point. Draws are defeats in title races. We should know this by now. Draws are definitely hurtful in title races, but when your competition are getting draws, if not losses, while you're getting those draws, hey, 1 point is better than no points. And we've seen some of our competition end up with losses or draws themselves. So as long as they're not getting wins when we're getting draws, that's a different story. Obviously, this one is one that's concerning, and it does go to your point that this is more like a defeat for this week because we drew, Arsenal won, therefore they've narrowed the gap. So that I will agree with. But if your competition is getting draws and getting losses, just don't lose. That's my part and point. Just make sure you don't lose. Personally, no champions play like us in the last 7 games. They have been a hard watch. Our last 7 games, I don't know about that. Our last 7 games have been a 1-1 draw to Forest, 4-0 win against Accrington, a 1-0 loss to Spurs, 2-2 draw to United, a 5-0 win against West Ham, a 3-1 win against Leicester, and a 6-3 win against Spurs. Those are our last 7 games.
There you go.
So,
come on, man. I think some fans need to realize, you cannot win every game.
You can't. You really can't.
You can't. You could if you made some certain signings. Maybe you could do it. But all in all, give and take. You're going to lose some. You're going to win some. And that's what makes football what it is, I think this window is like Max is saying, you can't blame the owners. The window just opened. Bro, you could build a half a stadium in 10 days. How many days? What is the date now? It's 15th. Window's been open more than 2 weeks. Simple. We could have bought mans in already. No problem. For me, I'm not going to blame Slot. Even if we fail this season, I'm not blaming Slot, the players, any player. Trent, Salah, any of them. I'm not going to blame any of them. No. They're doing what they need to get done,
I will admit too. Yeah, if if we were to lose to Brentford and if Arsenal were to beat Villa, it would be definitely tea kettle or teapot, alarm bells type thing going off, and you would hear the banter, you'd hear the pressure, you'd hear everyone saying, "Oh, you're going to take the man off bottle jobs," and blah 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 blah. That's if. That's if. So it means that this right now is going to be a testament. This team's got to step up and really put on some type of against a Brentford team that is a good team. I mean, they've got some good players playing well right now. So it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be an easy game whatsoever. It helps that we do have Lille, Ipswich, PSV as our next 3 games. And hopefully, if we can get this win against Brentford, we could utilize those 3 games as games to kind of, and that's Ipswich at home at Anfield, by the way. We can utilize those games against teams that either the game's not going to be exactly important in the sense that we might have the Champions League wrapped up by the time we play PSV, or, it's an opportunity to kind of get some of these teams on the training pitch, well rested, and back into firing situations. So hopefully that's the case. That's how I'm looking at it. 15 days, nothing. So don't think we get anything. Yeah, I get you. Has what other team out there has made any? I mean, you guys seem to forget what happened last January. We were in a title race last January with other teams. And what did they do? No one did anything last January. The last January transfer window, no one really did anything. So
all scared, weren't they?
Yeah.
So
PSR is no joke. They're going to start. They're really trying to make it a part and point to say that, you can't hide numbers any longer. You've got to come correct.
We don't have a problem with that, though.
Yeah,
we don't have a problem with that.
No.
Especially if a certain Saudi club came in and put 78 million on the table, and we just said, okay, we'll do that. Then you can go and spend whatever you want.
Yeah.
If that was to happen, But I don't think if a player like we bought Diaz in January, we bought Gakpo in January, there was always money there in these moments. But I think I don't think we'll be going aggressively into the market. I think it'll just be if something comes like the Diaz one. But I don't. Yeah, we can't go and drop 100 tomorrow. But if it's a player we want,
we can
45, 55, I don't think that would be an issue at all.
Yeah, agreed. And the Marmoush deal again is an interesting deal. It's not finalized. And I think it's interesting because Marmoush is still actively playing in games for Frankfurt. Normally, if it's a done deal, you don't put the player out there on the pitch. So that kind of says maybe there's still.
Oh, they get a little niggle, or they get a flu and they can't make the game. It's
right,
like,
exactly. All of a sudden, there's they've all of a sudden.
Oh, is he injured? Is it? No, he's not injured. He's just unwell. Next thing you know, he's on a plane to somewhere. Yeah, no way you're playing these guys.
Yeah,
like that's just 2 fingers. That's just saying like you're nowhere near getting this guy.
Yep. And the Zubamendi deal isn't for January. If that's going to be that's what the reports are.
That's not even for January.
It's not for January. It's for the summer.
Yeah.
That's why, I'm just trying to give you guys some perspectives on this. It's like, I get it. A lot of people are going to put that. Oh, we're getting Zubamendi. Let them talk. If they get Zubamendi, bravo, congratulations. But he's staying. He's not moving teams in the January window. That's for the summertime. So again, we move people. We move. Let's just get this win against Brentford, and then we can talk, and then we can start to focus in on some of the other things that we need to do, which is if we need to make any bigger moves, or maybe how about this? maybe we just get players that aren't getting involved in the team more minutes. How about that? You know, because I mean, like I know Elliot's thinking that. I know, you know what I mean. I know Endo will put his hand up if asked if anybody wants to, be subbed in. So we'll see, people. We'll see. Just yeah. Was it keep calm and carry on? That's all. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah, and yeah. Some BS say Zubi not a done deal for Arsenal yet. I don't think so either. I don't think it's a done deal. I do not think it's a done deal. I'm not saying that it won't get done, but I am saying I don't think that there's nothing done. That's all I'm trying to get across. Let's just get this win this weekend. And then we can do all the Chicken Little skies falling stuff. That's all I'm trying to get across.
It's all about winning games. That's it.
Yeah.
It's simple as.
Yeah, definitely. You're scared, get a dog, right? Is that how they say it? That's why isn't that why Arsenal have a dog? Maybe that's why Arsenal has a dog now. They're all scared. So that's why win is their dog win is there for them. Oh man. All banter, all good. We'll be getting together tomorrow. Let's just there'll be games tomorrow. Hopefully, that Manchester United game is on mañana. So and it's going to be on Brighton is going to be on right about the time that we start tomorrow. So we'll do a little bit of a I won't call it a hate along because I don't want to
go along.
Yeah, right. I don't want to put the wrong vibes out there or make the universe try to make us pay, as some people call them, the soccer gods or something like that. So we'll just say a little bystander watching or something. I don't know. We'll figure out some type of like modest name that keeps us in the right vibrations. But people, we are going to end this segment because we are coming at 2.5 hours. You already got 30 minutes of bonus coverage here. We're going to end this at 2 hours, but now we're at 2:30. So let's just be sure to meet again tomorrow, and hopefully we have some things to talk about tomorrow, as in maybe a Manchester United soon to be lost, maybe, I don't know, or maybe you see Brighton holding back on some players that might get some of us happy to see that maybe the speculation is that maybe they're going to be coming to a particular team that wears red and plays in Liverpool. We'll see, people. Anything you guys want to say to people before we push out? JK?
Yeah, don't worry, be happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't worry, be happy. There you go. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. A little Bob. That's the other Bobby.
Yeah, that's the other Bobby. Yeah. I actually made a song called "Don't Worry About It" back in the days. I made a song. Yeah.
Wow. Maybe one day we'll get the privilege of hearing that song, people. Maybe make a little debut.
Yeah, when we win the league.
When we win the league, how about that? Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
How about for you, Brian? You want to say anything to the people before we bounce out?
Just thanks for being here, and see you all again tomorrow. Yeah. Definitely. Everyone, Max, Monkers, all the people. True it on.
Yeah, but we're looking to try to get a start right at, or if not like 5 minutes before that Brighton match starts up. And we'll definitely be live during the Manchester United Southampton game. But other than that, people, stay strong and stay diligent, and always know that you are not alone in this walk. We are with you each and every step of the way. And as always, up the Reds, people, up the Reds. We'll see you tomorrow, and we wish you the best. All right, we'll see you. See you guys tomorrow. Take care.